Hey guys, it's Spaces Sims, and we are back with more Winter's Wish. I don't know why my brain wanted to say The Sims, and I was like, that's not what we're doing. I don't know why. The Sims for Winter's Wish. No, that's not it. Oh, dear God. Anyway, we're back with more Winter's Wish. And we were kind of in the middle of our tea party scene, but like it was going on forever, and we were already 10 minutes over. So anyway, we're popping back where we were. About to talk about. Oh my God. I can't with my brain right now. We were about to talk about what happened to Tanichibo or whatever. So, but if we're going to discuss the case in more detail, now's as good a time as any. Okay. As soon as I thought of that, I faced everyone once more. So what happened to Tanichibo? It had already been a week since Tanichibo was captured. The investigation conducted by the Kanto magistrate had come to a close, and it was around the time that the results should have been released. Kaigyo Tanichibo is currently being held in a prison house, and just like the other Ronin. Then does that mean Tanichibo isn't Lord Yoshimune's illegitimate son? And to answer your question, he is not. While it was true that his mother was a servant in Kishu province, he was not Lord Yoshimune's child. How do you know that? How do you know that for a fact? Unless Yoshimune's like, whoa, I have fucked a lot of women, but I did not have sex with that one. You know what I mean? Because like, you don't, how do you know? There's no DNA testing. Like, it appears Tanichibo was simply fooled by his mother's words. Oh, I see. I mean, you kind of figured he was going to turn out to not be his son just because then the problem goes away. You know what I mean? Especially since this is not going to be... Well, it doesn't seem like this is going to be the overarching plot for each route. This is just the common route plot. Because now it seems to be wrapped up. And, like, not to say that Tanichibo's not going to, like, come back and do something or whatever, and that's not going to be, like, the common thread in these routes. But I was like, okay, so they're setting him up so, like, each route is going to be, we're, like, dealing with him and his bullshit kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But no, because it seems like it's kind of wrapped up. So with that, it's like, yeah, right, I'm not surprised he's not his son, just because it's like, then it's like, nice little boat. Nope, he's not. Okay, bye, we can forget about him, type of a thing. Although, they gave him a sprite and everything, so, like, is he really just a part-time character, or is, like, he gonna come back and try to, like, wreak havoc because he doesn't believe what they told him? You know what I mean? Like, who knows, so. His reasoning seems suspicious, and I feel a little sorry for him, but there's no helping that. But the case hasn't been completely resolved. We haven't been able to locate the merchant that Tanichibo bought the Magatama from. There's that. Okay. According to Tanichibo, it seems that he pursued this foolish endeavor as per that same person's suggestions. He also added that, in reality, he had wanted to improve himself before directly negotiating with Lord Yoshimune. Okay, so he could come back as like, hey, we have to question him and ask him about the merchant type of a thing, so. Which means that person also helped instigate Tanichibo. So that means we should find that merchant, or... Correct. A similar incident may occur again. The stakes have become really high. If fighting the Blightfall wasn't enough, now there were people capable of creating tools that controlled Blightfall. It had all the makings of another major incident. Are you fucking okay? Talking to the bird. You're like on my shoulder, and then you're like under my chin, and then you're on my shoulder, and you're fluffing your feathers, and then you're freaking, and then you're under my chin. Like, you simmer the fuck down. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're very feisty right now. What are you doing? What's your problem? There's no bird lines right now. You missed them. They were yesterday's. Well, not yesterday. The day before's part. They were earlier. You didn't want to do bird parts. You didn't want to do bird voice. Did you hear him squeak when I touched him? See if we can get him to squeak. It's me trying to instigate him to get him to talk, and he's like, you're touching me, and I'm going to bite you. Like, yes, I know. You tell people hi.
You just get mad because I spoke in you. Which is not very nice, but try and get your chirp. You can say hello. Say hello. Say hello. No? You're going to be quiet?
People don't think you're real, you know that? That's not true. They know you're real because I yell at you all the time.
Not all the times. It's when you're downstairs and you're being a jackass and they scream at you and tell you to shut your fucking face. I know. You can talk to people. The microphone's right. Don't bite the microphone. No, you don't bite the microphone. You're talking to it. Talking to it. You got chirp. You got chirp and chatter. Don't bite it. Nobody wants that in their ears. You gotta talk when I'm not talking. You gotta talk when I'm not talking so people can hear you. Just very quiet. So not bite the microphone.
You know, you're very quiet when I'm trying to get you to talk to people. And then when I'm trying to, like, listen to something, that's when you're like, shriek! Smashing your toys around. And that's when you're making all the motherfucking noise. But now you don't want to make noise. Now you don't want to talk. Jerk. Anyway. If someone like that was truly out there, then we had to do everything we could in order to find them. In any case, Spacey did a great job on this mission. I think my reward should be taking you to bed. You know, if they threw that in here, I'd be like, I don't want to read it. That's embarrassing. But I just have to make these comments. I just want him as a reward. He could just be my vessel. That sounds really weird and inappropriate and more than I meant. But, you know. Huh? Me? But I was just watching during the final battle, and I wasn't much help.
Well, that's not true. And the only reason we were able to deal the final blow to the Blightfall was because you found its weak point, remember? Besides, if you weren't here, we wouldn't have been able to get the information that made us look into this incident in the first place.
Not to mention, you did a great job convincing Tanichibo in the end. And thanks to that, transporting him was a breeze. Tominari, Tojo... Everyone's saying this, so you should be confident in yourself. Without a doubt, you're a necessary asset to the Onewaban. When you say it, I take it to heart. You make me giggle. Yeah, thank you very much. Before I knew it, my eyes were full of tears from everyone's kind words. When I first joined the Oniwaban, it was because I had been ordered by the Shogun. There were people who needed me. I come all the way here telling myself that this was where I had to be. But through this case, I was reminded again that there was a side of myself who wanted to be with everyone, who wanted to help everyone. It wasn't because I was being forced to. It was because I myself wanted to be here. I'd like to formally say that I look forward to working with everyone. I'm going to work even harder from now on. Good. I have high hopes for you. I'm back! And here are the snacks. I had some trouble since they were hard to find. Wait, why is Spacey crying? Huh? That was when Mimi came back with truly impeccable timing. When I wiped my eyes, as she pointed out, I really had been crying all this time. It seemed that the tears that welled up earlier had been pouring down my cheeks. Spacey, what in the world happened? Tell me everything! Calm down, Mimi. This is... Isn't my fault. Oh, this poor little robot. I love him so fucking much. Why can't we date him? It's gonna kill me. I just want to love the hell out of this man. Like, he's perfect. Listen, I love the robots. I love them. They're the best fucking marshmallows. They're like, just so like, what? I did this? Is this my fault? And then they just, when you crack them, they're just so gooey on the inside. God damn. Why won't they let me love this man? Huh? What did you say? What did you mean, Kyoshiro? She's gonna beat him. Oh, wait, Maharu. This isn't the captain's fault. Give us a break, Captain. Why are you making things more complicated than they already are? Because this poor man doesn't know how to human. It's so sweet and adorable. He's like a little alien. I mean, he's a vessel, so like, kind of, but like, you know, but it's just, I love it. It makes sense why he doesn't know how to human. Oh, it's so, oh. You know how much I love the ones that can't human. it's the truth.
Depending on how you look at it, I guess. He was the first person to talk about that topic.
All you have to fucking tell her is like, no, we were just saying that Spacey did a good job on our recent mission. And then you'd be like, yeah, it just warms the cockles of my cold dead heart. I was just touched and emotional, you know? I felt that way at work today too. I got my review. I mean, they're always like, oh, well, you need to do this, whatever, you know? But like, it was just really kind of interesting to, you know, like, okay, obviously my boss is always like, oh, I appreciate all the work you do, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I always hear this, you know? So it's like, I'm like, yeah, whatever. But like, it only goes so far. Like, I like my boss. But like, it only goes so far when the people above her don't give a fuck about any of us on the bottom. You know what I mean? So you're like, you can appreciate it all you want, but like, and you say you want to get me a promotion next year, but like, and I believe you, but like, if it doesn't go above you, there's nothing we can do. You know what I mean? So like, that's fucking corporate America. But it was one of those moments when she was like, you know, everybody on the team like really likes, you know, you're really friendly and like you know, how you joke around or whatever and find you amusing or whatever. And I was like, oh, I'm like, really? Like, but I can be abrupt sometimes. And I'm like, but I can be an asshole. I'm like, yeah, no, I get that. Because there are times where I'm like multitasking and people ask me a question. I'm like, I don't have time for this. And I'm like, no, I didn't look at it. And then I'm like, oh God, I don't snap at the person because you're stressed out. It's not their fault. And I try to correct myself, but I'm like, I know I need to like, you know, when work is stressing me out, not snap at the person who asks me a question. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not their fault. I'm like, I try to correct that. I'm usually like, no, whatever, you know, like, but like, it's much better than the other year when someone told our director, like, oh, I'm really great, but I'm an asshole. And I'm like, I don't understand. I worked at a job once where, like, part of the job was, like, greeting people when they walked in the door, and we had, like, cookies, and so you had to give them a cookie, and then, like, you give cookies to the kids and stuff like that, and, like, whatever. And, like, it was, like, I'm really great with the kids, like, when they come in and I'm giving, because I get down, I kneel down, and I'll give them the cookie or whatever, but then I'm just rude to people, and I'm like, how the fuck does that work? Hey, sweetie, you want a cookie? Take a cookie, motherfucker! To their parents. How the fuck am I, like, yeah, you're gonna have to clarify that. I'm rude, but I'm really great with the kid. Like, how does that collate? Because I'm like, I'm not, you know, I though was in college and I worked with a bunch of like high school kids. And I really think a lot of like the criticism was like, because I was like older. So like, it was like high school douchebaggery. Because, like, one of the kids that I worked with did jack shit. They even told me, don't even bother listening to him. Why are you having me job shadow him then? Just don't even listen to him. He doesn't do anything. Because his mommy worked there. So, like, he didn't even do anything. And it was like, so why would you have me shadow someone that you know is incapable of doing their job, and they're just here because their mommy works here, and then blame me for why I don't know certain things? Okay, alright, that was the dumbest fucking job. That was really the worst. I should have just stayed working at the party store that I worked at. Because, you know, blowing up balloons was really fucking fun. The balloon counter was the best part of working at a party store. I hated working at the register. I always hated that. Because I don't like talking to people. So, like, I am literally like, I don't want to talk to people. This doesn't count. You guys don't count as people, sorry. That should be a good thing. When an introvert and a socially awkward person is like, you don't count as people, that is a compliment, okay? Just take it as that. But also, I'm talking to myself and then I put it up there later, so it's not like I'm directly. That's why I couldn't stream. I'd be like, this is awkward and weird, and like, I'd like feel awkward, and I wouldn't be able to do it. But like, I can record. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, but man, working at the party store was fun because blowing up balloons. The balloon counter was always the best. That was the best part of that fucking job. And opening the store. I had fun opening the store. Like, not like every morning opening, but like when they were first putting it in and I got hired, part of it was like, okay, unloading the trucks and like you'd put the thing and you're opening the boxes and stocking the shelves and stuff like that. I don't know. I had fun doing that. I also worked at a craft store and I fluffed the flowers. So like, if like that one was also fun because my job was fluffing the flowers, literally just going through, making sure they were all fluffed and like if like pieces were missing, you kind of just like replace them with pieces off another thing and then you'd like okay, this one's garbage now, whatever. And I used to take all the little leftover pieces that were like scraps home. I would put them in my apron and I would take them home. I have so many. I used to make masks, like when I could find good bases to do that. So I have so fucking many flowers from the craft store. Like, you're just gonna throw them out. I'll take them home with me. That was probably stealing. like whatever. It's kind of fun because and there was always a guy that worked and who did the floral arrangements where you could like go in and buy like fancy arrangements. His name was Ernie. The sad part is I'm like, God, he's probably dead now. Nah, he's like really fucking old at least. Cause I think at the time, God, that's been like 100 fucking years since I worked there. It's been at least 20 years. Everything's been 20 fucking years. I can't handle this shit. Guys, around the time this is going up, I don't know what day this is going up, but it's March now. Okay. And this channel has been here for 10 fucking years. It's been 10 years! What has happened? That's astounding. Be proud of us. I wish I knew what day anything was going up so I could be like, today is, I don't know. March 18th is 10 years. 10 years since I posted my first YouTube video. So whatever day this goes up, roughly around then. Anyway, this could be afterward. I'm not, again, I don't know. But anyway, not the point. Oh, good Lord. I don't even know what the hell spurned the, guys, my brain, I'm tired. Hey, Tominari, you're not helping. Oh, look at our little CG. How cute with everybody. Oh, look at Kyosho. Look at him. He looks so... He actually has a little concerned look on his face, like... But that's because Mimi's attacking him. Oh. Why can't we romance... I want to romance him so hard just so, like, when she's, like, beating him up, we could be like, no, stop. Don't. No, leave our little robot alone. And we could just pet his little head and protect him. But, like, he's not a love interest, so she's just, like, standoffish with him. I just want to be more... I just need to protect this man. Especially from Mimi, because she's our creation. This is our fault. You know?
I'll never forgive you for making a move on her. Know some shame. Shame on you.
Oh, he didn't make a move on me. I wish he did. Ow. Why did you hit me?
That's your own fault, Captain. Spacey, there's gold dust on the snacks Lord Yoshimune gave us. Let's eat them together.
Huh? All right. The place had become a pit of chaos. Mimi had started a one-sided argument with Kyoshiro. Tojo was trying to mediate, and Tominari couldn't care less. To tell the truth, I normally wouldn't feel comfortable in that kind of atmosphere, but... Chirp! You're right, Kamame. It's fun being with everyone. The bird is now settled quietly under my chin, so... We're not going to try to poke him. He's now finally settled down. But being here, I was reminded again of the peace of mind that this place and these people gave me. It wouldn't have been... Here we go! Here we go! Romance and Tojo! Chapter 4, it is rough! Wow, it's as crowded as ever here. It was another lively day in the entertainment district. There were a ton of people out and about, and I could hear barkers beckoning to passers-by from nearby shops. It's funny, because you're like, we're in the entertainment district, but we're supposed... You know what I mean? Obviously, we're going to wander around, but... Spacey, you'll get lost trying to get a gander at everything. Oh, sorry. It's all so intriguing. I got a little too excited there. I need to be on the ball since I'm here for work today. Well, I guess you can't help that Guess you can't help that everyone else's enthusiasm rubbed off on you a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Aunt Spacey's excitement is much cuter than his. Whoa! The taco place looks delish.
They must be pretty popular with a crowd like that. See, well, okay, so what did I say like 5 minutes ago? Maybe it was like an hour ago. I'm like, Tanichiba will probably pop back up because we need him to find the guy. So here you go. Here he is. Hold up. The soba restaurant looks pretty good too. Alright, let's head to the Dongo stand after hitting up the soba place. Ugh. I had soba noodles for dinner last night. I love soba noodles. Simmer down. And we're not here to eat today. Don't we get to eat at all, though?
Well, that's what you call being excited.
Yeah, it certainly is. I reluctantly smiled as I watched Tanichibo enjoying himself in the entertainment district. After the Tanichibo case had been solved, the Oniwaban conducted a large-scale search for whoever had sold him the Blightfall summoning Magatama. They'd let Tanichibo out of his holding cell today so he could lead us to the shop where he'd bought it firsthand. So, Spacey, what you been up to? I've been bored to tears living in jail. Sounds awful, but that's kind of your own fault. Don't it? It's been a rough day in, day out. I've been looking forward to seeing you. I wouldn't get a slap on the wrist if you so kindly at dinner with me, would I? Hmm? Yikes! How do I even respond in a situation like this? As I stood there, bewildered by the way he was coming on to me, Tanichibo started reaching for my shoulder. Just then, see, here's the thing. The way the game has been so far, like, they'd have Tominari jump in and be like, don't touch her. But Tojo's supposed to be our romance person now. We're in his route. He should be the one jumping in to protect us. That's enough. Okay, that's all right. Step away. Okay, they both are. Fine. Fair enough. Tojo brushed Tanichibo's hand away before it could reach my shoulder, keeping him from putting his arm around me. Tominari stepped between us in almost perfect unison, creating some distance between Tanichibo and I. Thanks, guys. I wish I could have tactfully sidestepped him on my own, but unfortunately, I didn't have much interpersonal experience. What's the problem, fellas? Can't a guy have a little fun while he's on the outside for once? Tanichibo didn't seem happy that they'd kept him from touching me, but to my relief, he still sounded cheerful. I did feel bad he was languishing away in prison. Glad to see he's doing surprisingly well. He would have normally been sentenced to death by beheading in front of the jail gate for causing that whole incident. Since Tanichibo was a valuable witness in the Blightfall case, they hadn't decided his penalty just yet. Thus, he was treated better than the average criminal. And also, I feel like he probably would never have done anything like this if he didn't think he was Lord Yoshimune's son. And he hadn't been given and the Magatama and kind of lured into it in a way. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of people kind of, not to say he's not responsible for his fucking actions, because he could have not been a dumbass, but, it's not like he was like, I'm going to pretend I'm Lord Yoshimune's son, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it. He didn't come up with all this plan on his own. People were kind of pushing him and goading him into it, and he's kind of just naive and a little stupid. So he does bear responsibility, but not 100% of it. So I feel like we could give him a little bit of leeway. Not a lot. Maybe we don't have to kill him though. Maybe we just take the death penalty off the table. Tanichibo's our only lead right now. All right then. After psyching myself up, I looked at Tanichibo. Plus, he's kind of just an idiot. A handsy idiot, but an idiot, Tanichibo, could you lead us to the shop where you obtained the Magatama? Let's eat later. Wait, you mean you'll let me get a bite to eat? Yes, so let's finish what we came here to do with some time to spare. We couldn't afford to offend Tanichibo, so I promised that we'd take him out to eat later as motivation. I hope they don't mind that I said that. I glanced over at Tominari and Tojo and saw they were keeping a careful eye on the situation, but didn't seem particularly opposed to my idea. Okay then, follow me. I'll show you where it is. Sounding much more gleeful than I expected, Tanichibo began to show us the way with a bounce in his step. But then... Hmm? Hmm? What's going on? What the... Huh? It should be right here.
I don't see a shop here.
There wasn't even an empty lot, much less a shop. Not even a trace of a tent ever being here. Did you take a wrong turn?
No chance. Or at least I don't think so. There really was a shop here. Weird.
But there isn't one. You're not seriously trying to trick us this late in the game, are you?
Of course not. What would I have to gain? I don't freaking know why the shop is gone. Can you describe who you bought it from then?
They were young? No, wait. It was an elderly man? Or woman? I feel like they put some kind of like juju on him. You know what I mean? They did some kind of spell or something so he can't quite remember and things are cloudy. You know what I mean?
Ah, damn it. I can't remember.
So the shop where you bought the Megatama doesn't exist, and you don't remember who you bought it from. You really expect us to believe that? At this rate, you're gonna get yourself tortured, you know?
Threaten me all you want. If I don't know, I don't know. You won't get nothing out of me. But it ought to be around here somewhere, damn it. Where did it go?
He sounds really confused. The threads around his neck aren't the color of someone who's lying, either. This was getting us nowhere, so we tried interviewing everyone in the area. Everyone we talked to claimed there had never been a shop there. It was hard to believe a shop ever existed there by any stretch of the imagination. I give up. Can we just say Tanichiba was tricked by some kind of fox and call it a day? He might have been.
Or maybe he's trying to throw the investigation by pretending he doesn't remember anything.
This is where we come in. Which is, see, we are useful because we can tell when he's lying, you know what I mean? But once I'd made sure Tanichiba was distracted, I spoke to Tojo and Tominari in a hushed voice. It doesn't seem like he's lying based on his threads. He really doesn't remember.
Really? Well, if you say so.
We'll keep your opinion in mind, Spacey. We can't say for certain right now when there's still so many things that are unclear. I agree. It was pointless asking Tanichibo things that he himself didn't know. I decided to change the subject for the time being. Tanichibo, how exactly did you summon the Blightfall?
Oh, ask all you want about that. The key to summoning the Blightfall is hold the Magatama in your hand and give it a good squeeze. In your head, you ask what's inside the Magatama to lend you its power. Then it shows right up.
Tanichibo's response was crystal clear, unlike before. Did the merchant who sold you the Magatama show you how?
Yeah.
What did they look like? What was their name?
Now listen.
We're listening. You remember what you were taught, but not the person who taught it to you?
Definitely odd. You're lying, aren't you? I told you I really don't remember. I'm having a hard time jogging my memory. It's like my head's all foggy.
Doesn't make sense to me either. See, I feel like they put some kind of like... Because if they know how to summon Blightfall and they have kind of that ability, or, you know, whatever, they could put some kind of spell on him or something. Like, there's magic Blightfall, so, like, I wouldn't put it past... And we can see threads. I wouldn't put it past someone to be able to, like, do something to, like, cloud his memory or something. You know what I mean? Or put something on themselves, like a glamour or something that would cloud anyone's memory when they're trying to think of what this person looked like, you know? I felt a bit bad for Tanichibo as I watched him hang his head. I think Tanichibo's telling the truth. When I said this, Tojo and Tominari looked at each other before letting out a small sigh. Perhaps he realized this meant we were done hounding him for now, because Tanichibo was suddenly all smiles. No, he's all smiles because you believe him.
Hell yeah! I cooperated and told you everything I know, so feed me like you promised.
Afterwards, we took Tanichibo out to eat as he wished and ended the day's investigation with nothing to show for it.
I'll take Tanichibo back to jail.
Thanks a bunch. Speezy, come back and see me anytime. Catch you later. Thanks for all your help today. I watched with a slight smile as Tominari led Tanichibo away. All we did was go out to eat. We made zero progress on the investigation, even though Tanichibo was the best lead we had. I have the rest of the afternoon off. Maybe I'll do one more round of interviews on my own. And do you have any plans for the rest of the day, Spacey? Whatever you want. While I stood there thinking to myself, Tojo began to talk beside me. Huh? No, nothing in particular. Why don't you come with me to the temple school then? The kids will be there today. You'll exhaust yourself thinking about work all the time and make yourself less efficient at it too. It'd be a good change of pace for you. How about it? That reminds me, I did promise to come again last time I was there. I don't want to inconvenience him by coming all the time, though. After a lot of hesitation, I timidly asked him a question. Do you mind if I come? Of course you can. The kids seem to like you. I'm sure they'll be thrilled if you came. They did? It tickled me to hear him say that. Tojo could probably tell I felt down and was trying to cheer me back up. He's always looked out for me, and he has the most human reactions of anyone in the Oniwaban. We also traveled to Ito together for 10 days. He might be the easiest one for me to talk to, come to think of it. Are you coming with me to school? Sure. Touched by his thoughtfulness, I nodded and smiled. I'd say the most difficult one to talk to is Kyoshiro. So far in Samurai Town anyway. Maybe not out of all the Oniwaban, because I feel like you could easily talk to him. It would just be he'd blink at you and not comprehend anything, because he doesn't know how to human. So, like, especially if you talk to him about factual things, or like whatever, he'd be fine. Or like missions and stuff, great. You try to talk to him about human emotions or things, he'd be totally fucking clueless. But Yoichi is probably one of the most difficult people to talk to, because he's kind of a bitch. Kaiji's difficult to talk to, because he likes to tease you. You know. So there's some difficult ones to talk to, so. I don't know who's the most difficult. I guess it really depends on the topic of conversation. After walking for a while, we arrived at the temple school not far from Tojo's house.
Oh, it's the nice lady from before.
It is! She came back!
The children came running, filled with glee when they noticed us. Hi, guys! Surrounded by children in the blink of an eye, I could tell I was welcome here, which filled me with joy.
Are you teaching today? Oh, you are? What are you going to teach us?
I know jack shit. Huh? I looked over at Tojo for assistance, but he just grinned. No help here. Want to try teaching him, Spacey? I usually teach him one-on-one, but you can lead the entire class just for today. Absolutely not. I don't think there's anything a country bumpkin like me could teach the children of samurai. No need to take it so seriously. We don't really have any rules here. I usually teach them. What do you teach them? I don't know, whatever. I don't know if that's... I feel it. There's no rule. You just... Whatever. I teach the kids something they don't know. Not that they're supposed to be taught. Something they don't know. We know some things that they don't know, but I don't think that's appropriate to teach them those things at their ages. When it was like, what do my husband and wives do? Don't teach them that. I don't think we should teach them how to cook. What do I know how to do? I can't teach them about threads. Tojo said this jokingly, but he seemed to mean it. And they come here to take a breather from their lives, too. Sometimes I make them toys that have nothing to do with learning. I just teach them something you know, and I'm sure it'll be beneficial to them. I mean, that's not untrue. You know, because even if it's not something that, like... Okay, you're like the basics, like reading and writing and arithmetic and, like, you know, basics, like things that you have to have knowledge to function in human society, right? You don't need to sometimes little things that, like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna teach you about a little hobby that someone has. Like, even though it's not gonna do you say any good air quotes around that, any good in your day-to-day life because, you know, I'm probably never going to knit, right? But if I'm sitting there and some little old lady's like, oh, let me teach you, teaching me how to knit, like, I'm not going to be like, no, bitch, I don't need to know how to knit. You're like, oh, okay, cool. You're going to learn something. And even if you're practicing and playing along, and you're like, I'm probably never going to fucking knit again. It's still like something fun and you learn something new, even if, you know, you don't ever put it to use. There's really nothing wrong with learning things, you know? It's not like I can only learn the things that I am going to use, you know? Yeah, if you don't use the knowledge that you gain, you do eventually forget it. You're going to be like, yeah, I learned how to knit once, but I don't remember how to do it anymore. But that doesn't mean that at the time when you're learning, even if you're like, I plan on never knitting again, it's still kind of fun to do in that little experience in that moment. So, you know, valid. It'll be beneficial to them, like having, even if they're like, oh, I don't remember how to knit, but I do remember someone telling me this little thing, and that was kind of interesting. You know, you just expand your brain a little bit, you know? I'll be in the back listening. If anything happens, I'll jump right in and give you a hand. So, want to give it a try? Strangely enough, I actually did feel like giving it a brief try when he asked me like that. The children were also staring at me expectantly, as if throwing their support behind the idea too. Like, what would I teach kids? I can't teach you anything because they don't have computers, so I can't teach you anything like that. I don't have any practical skills. I mean, I can manage to cook, but I don't think I'm good enough to teach anyone how to cook. It's just, you do it on your own and you're like, I mean, you know how to do things, but, you know. And I can't teach you about birds, even though I have a bird, because mine is not like other birds. He's really not. You're not a very good example of a bird. I know, but that's why I love you. I know. I do, though. But, like, you know, because people would have to tell you, birds, they're noisy, they're messy, they get into think they're all full of chaos, they'll get into things, and it's like, you really are not adventurous. You do not get into anything. You just like to snuggle. Like, I know he's alive because he clucked before. But, like, sometimes it's like, I will poke him. I'll be like, are you dead? Because, like, he snuggles all the time. He's a very lazy fucking bird. I kind of lucked out with a lazy ass bird. You know what I mean? Like, you see the little birds sometimes that are bouncing all over and they're chirping and they're singing and they're playing and they're really active and you're like, that's so cute. Not when you have to chase them around the house because they're getting into shit. He'll sometimes get into stuff, like he'll jump on the table and like go over, especially if there's a can of soda, and and you're like, I have to move it because he'll jump on top of it and knock the fucking thing over, and like, so like you do have to watch him, but that's like 1% of the time. It's not 90% of the time I have to keep an eye on him. I know where he is. He's sitting on the couch with me, sitting on the back of the couch snuggling with his teddies, or he's on his cage snuggling with his toys. Every once in a while he plays, but he's not very playful. Like, so he's not a very good example of what it's like to own a bird. So I can't even be like, oh my god, it's like, I know theoretically birds are a handful. They are definitely, I mean, he's messy as fuck. Like, they're messy, they're loud, they take a lot, you need to give them a lot of attention, but I'm also, like, he's Velcro, he's stuck to me, so, like, you don't get 5 minutes alone. I mean, you know, he's never away from me. Hi, hello, case in point. But, like, he's not chaos like some birds, where it's like, oh, they're very loud, or they're very, like, you know, they get into things and shred toys. He does not do that shit. So, like, typical bird behavior, he's like half a bird. He's half a bird and half narcoleptic. I mean, seriously. Like, are you okay? Are you alive? You know what? This is probably what... Oh, now, yeah, you know, you bit me. Okay, fine. I know. It's probably why I had a dream that you died last night, and I was very concerned. I did. I thought you were dead. I had a dream, and I was like, oh, no, Mr. Neelix is dead, but you weren't dead. You were just not moving. I was like, I held you, and I could feel you breathing, but it's because sometimes even, like, when I'm awake, I'm like, are you dead? And I have to poke you because you don't move. Sometimes I'm like, I can see you breathing. That's the only reason I would know. Because you really don't move a lot.
You're very tired. You're very sleepy boy.
It's because you don't get your 12 hours of sleep that you're supposed to get, so.
Okay, I know I don't take care of you the way you're supposed to. You're supposed to get 12 hours of sleep a night. You get like 9.5. Because we cover you up and then we go to bed and then we get up. So, like, yeah, you don't get your 12 hours. So, that's why you sleep all the rest of the damn day. Like, he sleeps all the fucking time. Anyway. The children were staring at me expectantly, as if throwing their support behind the idea, too. I mean, I don't know what she's going to teach them. I won't give any opportunities like this, so here goes. Got it. Sure, if you don't mind. Tojo smiled gleefully when I agreed to do it. Great. Appreciate it. The children were also delighted, innocently jumping up and down all around me. Something about it was really embarrassing. Now then, I need to focus if I'm going to be teaching the kids. What kind of class should I teach? Oh, how to be self-sufficient. How to interpret emotions. Huh. You know, it's like, okay, I'm so dumb. I noticed before that the choice that you're on has the little flowers around it, but I didn't realize that the other choice has like the little vines and the flowers move and they're on the vines in the back. We've only been playing this game for like 10 hours. I mean, okay, we got to pick the right answer for Tojo, right? To be fair, being self-sufficient, I feel like maybe emotions would be better. You know what I mean? That's more personal. Because, like, how to be self-sufficient? First of all, we weren't really good at being self-sufficient because we had the village bring us food and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So we weren't really good at being self-sufficient. We were good at being how to be alone, but is that really like something that you should teach kids? Like, here's how to be alone and live in the woods and have nobody like you. That's kind of depressing and sad. And I feel like interpreting emotions is maybe like a little like, that helps you in your interpersonal skills. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if someone looks like they have angry eyebrows, maybe they're angry and don't do things to piss them off. You know what I mean? Like, that helps you with other people as opposed to like, how to be away from humans. I personally like being away from humans, but no, it's how to be self-sufficient. All right. Well, okay. All right. I'll listen. Okay. Maybe a class about being self-sufficient? The only thing I could really boast about was my many years of experience living on my own. I also don't... Well, I mean, I guess to be fair, she's not really good at being able to tell other people's emotions aside from the threads on their neck, and you can't really teach that to kids who can't see threads, so I don't think she's really capable. Not capable. I don't think she's really like skilled enough to give a really great presentation on either one of these necessarily, but adequate, I guess. Since the children are all from influential samurai families, I knew for a fact they'd never made their own rice. Ah, okay. That's what she means, like how to take care of like cook your own rice, do things, not, I go out and hunt for myself, because we know she didn't. You never know what'll happen in life. There's no harm in learning how to support yourself, just in case. Okay, all right, fair enough, okay. All right, then. Today we're going to discuss how to be self-sufficient. Self-sufficient? Oh, I know what that means. It means you can get everything you need to survive on your own.
That's right. You know your stuff.
But what do you mean, get everything on your own? Can't you just buy what you need at the store?
You might think that because you live in Edo, but there may not be any stores if worse comes to worse. You'd be surprised how many regions don't have any. When you live somewhere like that, you have to grow your own crops and forage for vegetables and mushrooms in the mountains. As I continued explaining, the children then expressed great interest in what I had to say. Okay, so that's very valid too, because like she's like, I've lived in the mountains in the middle of motherfucking nowhere, and they're like, what the fuck is snow? No, I mean, I'm sure they've seen snow, but you know what I mean? It's like, they're like, I'm just gonna go walk to the corner store and get my beer and cigs from my dad. And it's like, what if you had to make your own? You know? Glanced behind them and saw Tojo was also listening, seemingly impressed, sorry. It naturally made me rather talkative. Edible plants grow here in Edo too. Take cankerwort, for example. which you can find growing on the side of the road. Cankerwort, another name for dandelions. I prefer saying dandelions than cankerwort. Cankerwort is just, ew. Like, dandelions is prettier. Cankerwort, a flower you'd find just about anywhere. After their yellow flowers have blossomed, they form a downy white fluff and cast their seeds into the wind. See, if we hadn't checked the thing, we would have been like, so like a dandelion? So we'd figure that one out. You can eat every part of a cankerwort plant. The flowers, stems, leaves, and the roots? That I didn't know. Maybe I've heard it before, but it's one of those, I'm not going to go out and pick some dandelions out of the... But now if I'm starving to death in the middle of nowhere, now I know. And we all know what a dandelion looks like. It's a weed that most people want to get rid of. I never understood. Those are so much fun when they get all puffy, when they get the little puffies and you like, and that's their seeds and you blow them and they go off and everybody would be pissed. People would be like, don't do that! Because you're just making more weeds, but you're like, but it's so much fun. Like, dandelions are the fun weeds.
Wow, really?
You can make salads with it, add it to soups. You can even dry the roots and make medicine. A milky white liquid comes out when you break the stalks, but no need to worry. It has no effect on the human body. Phrasing on that. The milky white... Oh, okay, you're talking about... Like, girl, what are you teaching them? The children's eyes were gleaming. My brain is always in the gutter, so you can't say certain things without me being like, whoa, watch your language. I assume this was because they just learned a new fact about a plant they were very familiar with. Pleased, I continued explaining which other mushrooms and plants were edible.
What do you do when you want to eat fish?
You go fishing. If you catch more than you can eat, you can use the extra fish to barter with others. I was absolutely terrible at fishing, so I primarily used traps to catch fish. In my case, I never had anyone to barter with either. Oh, no, letting my thoughts wander reminded me of the past, and now I feel kind of sad. Just when I looked down at the ground... You're amazing, Spacey. Make love to me now. I'm just kidding. Listen, all it takes is one man to be nice to me, and we're all over it. No one's ever been nice to her before, so she's got a man. There's a gaggle of men, even the ones that are kind of bitchy to us, still into it. Because they talk to her. That's it, right? Huh? Your lesson was fascinating. Feel like I could live just about anywhere with you around. Oh, how romantic. You might seem meek at first glance, but you're actually pretty rugged. You're really something. That's like really ridiculously sweet. I'm really not that... The unexpected compliment made me feel bashful. Still, I couldn't be happier. Thanks to him, I managed to forget how sad I'd felt just now. With his help, I continued the lesson and pulled off being teacher for the day. The lesson also seemed to make the kids trust me because now they were more fond of me than ever before. They're so genuine and adorable. Kids are great. Okay, well, I don't know what drug she's on. Kids are great? The fuck are you on? Listen, I know some people like kids, so fair enough. I thought to myself as I watched the kids innocently having fun. When they're behaving and being cute and like whatever, like, yeah, sure, they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. Kids make me awkward. Like, I'm just like, I don't particularly like being around kids. They make me more awkward than other humans. Normal humans, like adult humans, where I'm like, you know what I mean? They, like, strangers, I'm like, but like strange adults, I'm like, but I can get into it. But like kids, it's always like, I don't know why kids like me, but it's like, why? It's weird. I don't know how to deal with kids. I just don't. That's where my robot comes out. I'm like, I do not know how to process this small being. What the fuck do you do? Like, you know? So, that's why. But also, like, man, I'm just not a kid person. Like, I'm not a dog person. Dogs are cute, sure, but I don't want one. And, like, you know, dogs make me kind of feel awkward sometimes. I'm not, like, afraid of dogs. Like, if people are walking dogs, dogs are usually like, oh my God, pet me. And you're like, can I pet? I don't, and then I'm like, a pet dog. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? But, like, if you want to sit there and show me pictures of your dog, I'll look at pictures of goddamn cute dogs all fucking day. You know what I mean? Like, sure. Especially if you put your dog in a sweater. Fuck that. I will be there for that. Dogs in sweaters are adorable. And booties and shit, if you dress your dog up in clothes, I'm here for this shit. But I don't want to see pictures of your kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like, here's a picture of my kitten now. Here's a picture of my dog. Okay. I'll look at the dog pictures. But, like, you know what I mean? I feel like it's because dog people and kid people are very similar. Kid people think everybody likes kids and everybody should have kids, and it's weird if you don't like kids. And dog people are very similar. Dog people are like, why don't you like dogs? You like cats? You don't like dogs? They don't seem to understand that, like, not everybody likes dogs. Like, it's very... Cat people get it. They're like, I like cats. Oh, you're a dog person? I'm not a dog person. I'm a cat person. But cat people, bird people, any other animal people aside from dog people get that other people have different animal preferences. But dog people seem to not comprehend most of the... I'm not saying all of everybody, but I'm like, it seems to be the Venn diagram of, like, don't understand that people don't like dogs, and people don't understand that people don't like kids are very much those people. Like, most kid people are very confused if you don't like kids, and dog people are very much like that too a lot of the time. Again, just a majority of if you're kid/dog people. I get it, there are exceptions, and some of you guys are probably exceptions. You know what I mean? But it's like, as a bird person, I'm like, I get it. Birds are not for everyone. Bird people are weird people, okay? You know? Like, I get it. We're weirdos. It's because birds are weird. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't think everybody should own a bird. And it'd be very weird if you went up to someone and was like, and there you were like, why don't you have a bird? You should get a bird. Why don't you have a bird? Birds are great. You should have a bird. People would be like, why the fuck would I want a bird? And it's like, well, that's why I feel like when you tell me I should have a kid or a dog. But they don't comprehend that. It's weird. I'm just saying the phenomenon is weird. In general, not all kid people, not all dog people, just in general. It's just a very big overlap in that Venn diagram of doesn't comprehend that other people. Like, it's very weird. Anyway. Once class was finally over for the day, each child went back to their homes. That's where kid people and dog people are weird. That's why they're weirder than bird people. And I know weird, am bird person. It was so quiet and still in the temple school, it was hard to believe how lively it had been from their squealing and laughter not long ago. Sorry to make you clean up after them, too. Don't worry, I'm doing this of my own accord. What would you like me to do with the desks, by the way? Oh, could you wipe those down with a cloth and set them in the corner of the room? Sure thing. I thought back on today's class while we cleaned up together. It wasn't perfect by any means, but teaching for the first time was a nice breath of fresh air. I can't with words. It was also soothing to experience how genuine and pure kids can be. Kids are great. Stop saying that! If this game forces babies on me at the end, I'm going to be pissed at all of you who voted for this. And I'm going to say it right now. For everyone who's like, you'll enjoy this. How dare you? Okay. I will enjoy 99% of this game. The 1% would be the forcing me to have kids at the end. But I don't think, I just feel like vessels should be like vampires and be, except for in special cases, exempt from kids. I feel like they just shouldn't be able to have kids so that we don't have to have kids. We can just run the temple school together and then you get your kid dosage, but you don't have to have your own. Be good. I don't know how form folk and vessels work in this world, though, but... Aren't kids great? No, stop saying that. Huh? It took me by surprise because he said exactly what I'd just been thinking. Can you read people's minds? No, although that would be a convenient power to have. I could tell by the look on your face. Oh. I gave my cheek a pinch. I had no idea the look on my face would give away my thoughts. All I've done up until this point is interpret other people's emotions. Guess I should try not to make mine obvious, too. What do you think of today, by the way? Was it a nice change of pace? Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Kids' thread colors are so straightforward, and being around them really puts me at ease. I feel so much better. That's all that matters. When I saw Tojo smile, I suddenly realized he'd been thinking of me when he asked me to step in. I'm sorry if I've gotten the wrong idea, but Were you worried about me because the investigation stalled and I haven't been able to think about anything besides the case? I stared at Tojo, waiting for him to respond. Well, I'm not so sure about that. He dodged my question. Knowing how considerate he was, I was pretty sure that's what had happened. In the end, Tojo's plan had been a success. Interacting with innocent children had taken a huge load off my mind. Tojo's a great guy. He's so kind and reliable. She's kind of already fallen for him, so okay. I was keenly aware of how fortunate I was to be on the same team as someone like him. I don't know how many chapters there are. Okay, hold on. Could try not to look at the answers. Okay, hold on. Oh, that's the bad end. Sorrow end. Oh, God. Okay, 7. There's 7 chapters. Then there's a sorrow end and a short bad end. Oh, I don't like that there's a sorrow end. That sounds terrifying. Okay, scroll back up. Okay, that's chapter 3, and we already did one choice in chapter 4. Okay. I tried to scroll fast and just look at the big title card so I don't see any choices. Because I like to sometimes be like, yeah, I don't know, or like guess, you know? And we were clearly wrong the first time. I was keenly aware of how fortunate I was to be on the same team as someone like him. But, I mean, to be fair, chapters 1, 2, and 3 took, like, what are we in part 9? 8 hours. So, yeah, I mean, these could go quicker. They could just take, I don't know. Spacey, you did a fantastic job teaching today. Thank you. You helped out quite a bit, though, Tojo. I wouldn't have been able to do it on my own. And don't be so modest. You did a lovely job teaching him all that on your first try. Then he gave me a gentle pat on the shoulder as another way of saying it was a job well done. He touched me. The warmth of his hand and the kind look in his eye made me even happier. It makes me really happy to hear you say that. Here's to next time. Can't wait. Yeah. All right, time to give cleaning my all, too. Later on, after Tojo's pep talk, I gave cleaning my undivided attention with more enthusiasm than before. It kind of sucks because we're like 3 minutes under, but like the scenes are kind of long, so I don't know if this is like we should stop here or just like I guess we're gonna go a little bit, and if we go a little over, then we'll just have to stop it in the middle. But like, we're here, we might as well. Nobody really complains. Honestly, sometimes when you guys you get excited about longer than hour parts. So like, and especially since we're doing every other day, a little bit longer is okay now and then. A few days after teaching a lesson at the temple school. Please help yourself, ladies. The treats I bought today are a tad special. My, are these from that famous... Oh, that's the other lady. Okay. My, are these from that famous shop everyone in Ito's been raving about recently? I hear they've become so popular through words of mouth that they sell out almost instantly. You have to line up first thing in the morning. Wow, that's incredible. There's our fancy kimono. We're looking adorable. I sent a servant out first thing this morning to buy some for today's tea party. I wanted to try them for myself at least once. I was attending a tea party held by Miss Tanba, by Mr. Tanba's wife. I was like, Miss Tanba's wife? Oh, I was thinking held by Miss Tanba. By Mr. Tanba's wife, Chie, to gather intel as usual. Tojo and Tominari must be dripping with sweat while out on patrol. I feel bad that I'm the only one having delicious tea and snacks. Maybe only a little bad. Questioning Tanichibo had led to some progress in our investigation of the Blightfall summoning Magatama. No matter how hard they pressed him, however, Tanichibo stubbornly insisted on one thing. He didn't know. As such, all the Oniwaban could do was gather information while going about our normal duties. I need to do the best I can to pick up on some intel. I thought this to myself while popping a snack into my mouth. Oh wow, these are delicious! Without even thinking, I blurted out. I glanced over at Chie in a panic at how childish I'd just been. I'm glad you liked it. There's still plenty, so have as many as you like. Thank you so much. Saved by Chie being so easygoing. These tea parties had become fairly informal since the Tanichibo case. Although we maintained basic etiquette, we enjoyed our tea any which way we wanted. Today's tea party mostly consisted of the noblemen's wives idly gossiping. I was nodding along with a smile, listening intently because I wasn't sure what parts of the conversation might contain key intel when... Oh, right, Spacey! Chie pulled me into the conversation like she just remembered something. The other ladies also turned their attention towards me. My son told me you were a teacher for a day at the temple school run by Tojo. I didn't even think about which families the kids were from. So the Tanba's son was there too? Yes, I was. I'm not sure I did a very good job, though. My son was very pleased. He said you taught him some very interesting things. Tojo always does a great job instructing them. I'm very thankful that his school stoked my son's interest in learning where the domain school couldn't. Is that right? Yes, Tojo's a very good teacher. My son always looks forward to school. And to think he gave me a compliment. The other ladies seemed very interested in our conversation. I've been hearing rumors about Tojo's temple school for a while. If it's that good, I'd love to send my son there too. Are there still openings? I'm not sure. I'll ask Tojo soon. And maybe I'll send my daughter there too when she's a little older. I'm sure he'd be delighted to know what you've all said about his school. I was thrilled and somewhat proud that they held him in such high regard. Look, we're being proud of our husband. We're like, oh, I'm proud of my husband. They don't know he's not a real person, but he's kind of a real person, but he's also not a real person. Is he a real person? What form folk were objects that became people, and vessels are objects that became people. So, like, I guess they're kind of like magical people. They're magical beings. So, like, I guess he's still a real boy. Yeah. Tojo's such a hard worker. He must already have his hands full as a samurai, and yet he's also hard at work running a temple school. Maybe vessels don't need to sleep. We don't know. A gentleman like him are hard to come by. He's also quite handsome, don't you agree? I love that they're like, he's kind of hot, though. I wouldn't be surprised if he did have a secret admirer. It's odd that I haven't heard one bit of gossip about him. Hearing this startled me. A woman with a crush on Tojo? I suppose someone out there must, although I've never thought about it before. I mean, he is a wonderful guy. I haven't heard any talk of him having a fiancé either. I wonder what he has planned for the future. Really? Your kid didn't come home and say that, like, Spacey, his fiancé, like, you know what I mean? They were like, all the kids thought we were his fiancé. So I'm surprised they didn't keep running with that. Do you happen to know Spacey? The future? I was hard-pressed for an answer since I never saw this topic coming. I would be like, as far as I'm aware, he doesn't have a fiancé. I don't know about a secret admirer. I haven't heard anything. Did vessels like Tojo, who were only born to fight Blightfall, even experience love in the first place? Well, yes, they do, because otherwise this game would be pointless. What a sucky game. I would be so mad at this game and all y'all for voting for this if we get to the end and it's like, friend or out, buddy, pal, chum, and that's the fucking ending. And the sorrow end is we fall in love with him, but he's like, yeah, no, I got no feelings. And like, if we're not actually going to romance him at the end, break down his walls, give him a heart, and then they're going to be like, well, I guess we'll let him live. You know what I mean? Like, and he's going to prove that he can still do his job even with a heart. Because magic or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, I would be so fucking mad. Would be the point of this game. Friend-zoned? Ouch. I don't want to play friend-zone the game. Probably not if his heart's been sealed away. Being made hyper-aware of it all over again made my heart ache, like it was being squeezed. You and Tojo would be a perfect match. I guess so. Wait, huh? What did she just say? You certainly make a great couple. You might want to get a move on sooner rather than later. Well, what does she mean get a move on? And they think Tojo and I would be a good match? Despite how shocked and confused I felt, the conversation had begun to grow quite animated.
He's earnest, has a lovely personality, and is also a shogunate retainer, meaning your future would be in good hands. Plus, again, he's hot.
A trustworthy gentleman who keep you close would be perfect for someone as gentle as you, Spacey.
You know, I love that, like, look at them. They're friends. They're like good friends. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like, you know, he's got a good job and everything. And oh, he's such a gentleman and he'd so protect. Oh my God, it'd be so great for you. Like, look at you. Look at you ladies having my back. I like our lady friends who don't have faces or names. I mean, Chie does, but like the other ones don't.
I don't think he'd ever cheat. He seems like the kind of man who'll take good care of the woman he marries.
Look at even this. I love our lady friends.
He sure is a wonderful guy, but I really don't know that I'm the one for him. Oh dear, we can't have you giving up before you even started. We're rooting for you.
Yes, have some confidence in yourself.
It's not me that I'm not. Well, I'm sure she's having a little bit of self-confidence issues, like thinking I don't think I'm good enough. But it's also the I don't know if he's capable of love, so that makes it hard. She's kind of doubting both of them at this point, you know. The ladies held their fists in front of them, their eyes gleaming. Judging by the color of their threads, they're suggesting this out of curiosity and the goodness of their hearts. But I wasn't used to talking about this sort of thing, so I was at a loss for what to do. My heart's definitely skipped a beat or two around him, but I've never thought about him that way. You are now. It's true, though, something like that would normally happen. I felt a strange ticklish sensation welling up inside me, probably from thinking about it. Look at her little smile, though. But then, I heard a blood-curdling shriek outside. What was that just now? The scream was immediately followed by a rumbling sound and a tremor that seemed like it might make the building collapse. Clearly, something huge had happened. Do you think something dreadful might have happened, like the Tanichibo case? The ladies looked outside nervously. What just happened? I guess I'll go check. I'll go see what's happening out there. Please wait here since it's dangerous. What? Absolutely not. You'll be in danger. I appreciate it, but I'll be fine. I'll just run away if necessary. I'll be right back. I'll just peek out the window. And with that, I dashed out of the house without waiting for her to respond. Perfect time to stop, right when the drama happens. It's probably Blightfall, but anyway, I'm going to stop here and because that was a scene transition, so good, you know. We went like 7 minutes over. We got a nice little scene with our lady friends. So, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.